The 2018 season of Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan is underway in the tent by the river. This season features a trio of productions, including the comedy The Merry Wives of Windsor.
How now, sweetheart? Who's at home besides yourself?
Why, none but mine own people.
Indeed.
Certainly. Speak louder.
Truly, I am glad you have nobody home.
Why?
Why, woman, your husband is in his old lines again. So takes on yonder with my husband. So rails against all married mankind. So curses all Eve's daughters, that any madness I ever yet beheld seems but tameness, civility, and patience to this, his distemper he is in now. I am glad the knight is not here.
How near is he, Mistress Page?
At street end, he'll be here anon.
Ah! I am undone. The knight is here.
One of Shakespeare's most popular tragedies, Hamlet, will also be staged, with Skye Brandon in the title role.
The action to the word to the action. With this special observance, that you overstep not the modesty of nature. For anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold, as 'twere, the mirror up to nature. To show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time is form and pressure. There be players I have seen play and heard others praise, and that highly have so strutted and bellowed that I have thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably.
I hope we have reformed that indifferently with us, sir.
The third production will be a first for the festival, as Titus Andronicus will be staged as it never has been before. We went behind the scenes as the creative forces behind Stumped Productions prepared for the show earlier this year.
Religiously, they ask a sacrifice.
I'll find a day to massacre them all.
It is likely the bloodiest and most violent play in the Shakespeare canon. Titus Andronicus is a fictional tale of revenge that results in a number of deaths in gruesome fashion. And so, when Crispi Lord and Kristi Friday saw the film adaptation and began discussing a way to stage it, they came up with one solution.
I believe it was Crispi was like, puppets.
Yes, this duo, which typically works with the more cuddly versions of puppets for their wide-open children's theater, have expanded their scope to stage some of the most adult fare imaginable.
They're the bad guys of the story, although that's debatable. When it comes to revenge stories, who really is the bad guy?
They began discussing the possibility of staging Titus as part of the Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan Festival with artistic producer Will Brooks.
About 2 years ago we first met and chatted about it, and then since then we've been, Crispi and I have had a few intensive workshops where we've gotten together and built prototypes, and eventually we've gotten to what you see now behind me.
They believe the play lends itself well to this medium for a few reasons.
We have about 15 characters that need more than one version of themselves, so that we can have them prepped and ready for the moment when whatever happens to them goes down. And so we've got a puppet that will exist up until that point, and then we can switch them and put the other on.
And there is one other practical concern that make puppets more desirable for this production.
Well, the joy with the puppets is that you don't have to pay them as much as an actor. So we can expand the cast without having to worry about the budget. If we want to leave them in the spot where they die or whatever happens to them, we can have that happen, which you can't do with live actors. Often they have to scurry off and change into another costume and come back on as a new character, especially in Shakespeare.
Titus will be staged at the festival site in a new, smaller venue that seats about 100 people. The show will feature both rod tabletop and shadow puppetry.
Demetrius and Chiron, and they don't have their hair attached yet, but we're working on them.
A total of 44 puppets, made up of 670 individual parts, are being constructed.
When you're sculpting, it's always interesting because when you're sculpting people, because you think, okay, well, this is what the character's going to be like, and then you make the face like that, and then you start adding little bits, and you're like, oh, he's not quite the same character that we thought when we started. Oh, he's getting a little darker. Oh, it's getting a little different.
In Saskatoon, I'm Simon Hiatt reporting.